Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick Girls, episode 8 of season 6. We're down to the last 3 episodes. There's only 2 to go after this one.
Nice.
What
do we do this time about Adam?
This time, thank you. Yeah, I was thinking we need to talk about Kevin. It's like there's just too many words in this title.
We need to talk about Adam.
Yes, we do indeed. Brett, Grace, Alonso. I did not see this coming.
Really?
Yeah, I have to say.
I kind of did.
I saw it. I still don't know what the hell happened, really.
I mean, let me put it this way. I saw that he would maybe want to be more involved, but I was shocked that she took him back so quickly.
I agree with you that far, that it is a little bit of a jump and we just have to buy into what, he keeps saying we have so much history, and I think that they expect us as the viewers to just sort of like, well, they do have all this history, so let's allow this to just sort of live in a dream world for a little bit. But they were gonna have to deal with this, the would they, won't they end up together question that I think a lot of people had for Adam and Hannah. And
it's such a clever way to solve that problem. It's such an idea-y way, not as much as it is like an organic conversational way, or it doesn't feel very organic. It felt like they were saying, all right, how do we see what would happen if Adam came back? And it's much like in La La Land, that whole sequence where you don't know what the hell you just saw until you find out it was all a dream.
Like let's offer some fan service and then show why that would be why that might be a bad idea.
And either I imagine you either saw this scene and were like, that is so brilliant that they have this moment where they don't mention it. They pivot seamlessly to like, so what are you doing later after we just planned our lives together? How is the next 4 hours gonna be the most different from the ideas we were tossing around? And you see that and you're like, that's brilliant. Or you're just saying to yourself like, didn't feel right. And that's how I felt afterward.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, so you don't feel, you've sort of moved on from the Adam and Hannah dynamic. You didn't buy it?
I think the point, like in general, or like I think that, okay, I think that the central thing that I have to decide for myself as a viewer, which is very difficult for me, is like whether I'm going to acknowledge and admit that these people are so caught up in their own stupid bullshit that I'm gonna allow this drama to play out with my limited expectations of how developed they are. Like I watched that scene and I was like, no, that's right. And every time that like the potential for them to grow up fails, I just go like, oh, that's right, they're not grown up yet. Get rid of this baby, move on.
It's weird because I really like how the scene plays out in that it doesn't necessarily tell us what to think about it. When he is sort of casually mentioning, oh, well, I guess we should get married so that we can do the da-da-da-da-da, and he's just mentioning kind of a practical way, and she clearly is sort of upset by that. And I'm thinking, is she moved because that's as close as she's gonna get to a proposal and she didn't know that was ever gonna happen? Or is she upset because that was such a perfunctory proposal and that he's looking at her as this sort of project, that has to be taken care of?
I think it's how practical his solution seemed to be, how practically it seemed to be presented versus how impractical she knows they both are in general.
Yeah.
And she's like, he just said we should get married. And I don't think she thought it wasn't romantic. I think she was just like, it wasn't us. Yeah. This is so inconceivable for us to follow through on this kind of thing.
I do think that it was a little bit of fan service to give them this dream world where maybe they could be this way, but we know, given what we have seen, that they aren't this way, and this would never be a reality. And I do want to get your guys' thoughts on Jessa's response to Adam, just sort of storming out and
is she pregnant?
Jessa?
Yes, because women never throw up on television or in movies unless they're pregnant, almost never. So either they're very cleverly playing with that trope and giving us a woman who's throwing up just because she's throwing up and she's upset and it's not relevant, which is fine. I think Lena Dunham's smart enough to do that kind of thing. Yeah. Or it is the classic setup for she's pregnant too.
I think I hadn't thought about that. I thought like, oh, this is girls. She's got an eating disorder she's not talking about, so she goes and throws up. But I think you're right, she's pregnant as hell.
No, I'm not saying, I don't know, maybe she's just upset.
I think
I'm
she's
just
pregnant.
throwing that out there.
I have a feeling that she could be pregnant. And if
pulling the Chekhov's trigger.
Stop it.
And if she is pregnant, I will say I'm gonna be a little disappointed in throwing that in there so late in the run of this show. I don't know how, like, what would that mean for this?
Well, it would certainly, obviously then it makes it, then Adam has to sort of figure out where his responsibilities lie and where his loyalties lie and all that stuff. I don't know.
It's so messy.
I don't even know.
Everything's so messy.
I don't even know that that's a thing. I'm just throwing it out there because just I see somebody barf in a movie now and I'm like, okay, well.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
No, but it's also messy. All these relationships are so messy. Like, I get it. It's an interesting thing to think about that Jessa then would have to say she's going to see if Adam can like change his life for a baby. Sorry, I just spat on you. He can change his life for a baby, or if she is sad because she's going through this and Hannah got to it first and she lost her opportunity to have Adam do that for her. And that's probably in the back of her mind. Her biggest question mark is like, is Adam perfect for Hannah? Because I want him to be perfect for me.
And you've got Jean-Louis, who's like could not be less interested in this baby, and then you've got people like Adam and Laird, who are both like, I'm gonna come in and fix everything, and it's like, no one asked you to.
And then also, Elijah was like, I know a doctor that can do really late term abortion.
Right.
I mean, I do sympathize with Hannah right now because I think she has a lot. It is very messy, and there isn't really a compass for her. There isn't really a voice of reason outside of her own, which isn't the best voice of reason in her life.
Is she taking a single prenatal vitamin? She doesn't have any crib or anything in that house. I mean, I'm wondering how seriously she's even taking this.
I feel, but that,
bad enough to be pregnant in a heat wave, but I mean, she's not even really like.
Just the question is, I don't know. When I watch this, I ask myself, who's right for whom? Like, are they gonna pair up? Because questions like, is Shosh right for Ray, or is Adam right? Abigail right for Ray?
Not right for Ray?
And I'm asking, like, is Adam right for Hannah, or is Adam right for Jessa? But I think what I keep coming back to, which is kind of a sad thing for me as a viewer, it's like more true to the show, but like it doesn't give me any cathartic end to this, is like, no, they're not good for anyone because they're not good.
No, I agree. I think the show gets that, and I imagine that. I'm not going to try and predict what's going to happen, but I think that the show understands that even if they match up certain people at this point in time, and as the show is ending, it in no way is endorsing that. Oh, and they will live happily ever after.
Right.
I mean, I think the show is constantly about people who are faced with choices and trying to do the right thing, but almost 100% of the time will take the cop-out narcissist way instead.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about Adam, Shosh, and Abigail?
You mean Ray?
Ray, sorry. Ray, Shosh, and Abigail.
I don't know that Abigail is being intended to be sort of a last-minute contender, or if the moments that he spends with her is to sort of make him understand what he's got with Shoshan and not take that for granted. I don't know.
No, I think he's into Abigail. Clearly. I hope there's something more to that, because it did felt like this ex machina, like she just like this person shows up and is good for Ray, and they go off together.
Yeah, their chemistry was really electric, which I enjoyed, but I have such a soft spot in my heart for Shosh.
Of course.
Especially recently. I don't know why. She annoyed me in the first couple seasons, and now I really feel for her. So this was a little bit hard as a Shosh fan to see Ray click so obviously with someone else. Because previously, even when Ray was with Marnie, we knew that he would be better with Shosh.
Of course,
and now
their personalities clicked even if he was physically clicking with Marnie. But but no, I don't know. I want Shosh to come out of this okay too, granted. But by the way, I Googled it. I could not find the cartoon of the talking bowl of borscht. That might be they made up.
Definitely seems made up.
You never know.
But yeah, I don't know. They just so explicitly had a bit of dialogue about the reason that Abigail is better for Ray than Shosh. Like, that is my question. That is the right answer. We match.
Yeah.
Though, like, they still personality-wise, Abigail and Ray seem so different from one another. I did believe that he would freaking hate her because she's so like flighty.
Right, but I mean, I think a lot of times you find people who click in a certain way, and maybe Shosh is too much like Ray in terms of I mean, she's not antisocial the way he is, but that sort of there's that sense of kind of a constant skepticism. Whereas if Abigail is somebody who is more open to things and more enthusiastic about things, that they mesh
better. It could
better.
open him up, especially now that he's sort of experiencing a little bit of a renaissance himself, given the death of his friend.
Right. Yeah, anything is possible. But I trust that this show is going to end up in a way that is in no way negating everything we know about these characters and have come to know about them for the previous 6 seasons.
Oh God, you are optimistic.
I'm giving them all the benefit of the doubt that they know better than to do that. That they're going to give us something that feels like an ending, that feels like a catharsis, but it's not going to be. And now we're all fixed, and now we're adults and ready to be that way in the world.
Yeah,
I hope.
Even Sex and the City had like a bow that they tied at the end, but the movie they made after was like, let's untie that bow and blow it up anyway.
Let's explode the present.
But those characters were older and more
right. That's the thing. That's what's so crazy about it is like, oh God, we've been with them for 5 years, but they're still a mess, and they're still young enough to be a mess.
Yeah. So with 2 more of these to go, just come back and see us. We'll figure out what the hell's going on. Thanks for watching.